voice of women in sport.
This is Season 3, Episode 23 of The Horse Show on Wisp Sports Radio. Hello, I'm Chris Stafford, reporting from the FEI World Equestrian Games on day 10 of competition here, where we saw the final of the Nations Cup, the team competition that decided the medals, and to an amazing reception and a fantastically thrilling finale to the competition. It went to a jump-off between the USA and Sweden. Gold medal went to the USA of Laura Kraut, Adrienne Sternlicht, Devon Ryan, and McLean Ward. It was an absolutely thrilling finale, very hot out there in the arena, but the crowd stayed on and brought the home team home to top the medal podium, which was absolutely thrilling for Team USA, which means they actually qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in 2 years' time. I'm almost out of breath because it was just so exciting, and we had the press conference just now where I was able to catch up with Adrienne Sternlicht and get her reaction to winning the gold medal on her championship debut. We've been following Adrienne for a while. It was thrilling to see her win that gold medal, and she was so overcome with emotion. She really didn't know what to do and how to react, and in the end it was tears of joy for her. So congratulations to Adrienne, and I got her reaction right after the press conference. Winner of the team gold medal at your championship debut. We followed your story now for several weeks and months even. What are your thoughts?
I don't even know how to put it into words. I know that's a cliche thing to say. But again, it's hard for me to believe that we're here right now. I don't know when it will sink in. I'm actually not super thrilled with my 2 rounds. I knew I made a mistake in my first round. My horse did nothing wrong. I think I lost some impulsion through the turn when I was turning back on that oxer. I had a back rail and then I had a front rail in the jump off. I thought if I did 9 there, then maybe I'd be safe. But with the change of bit, I think, in the atmosphere, I just had a little bit too much horse maybe. But I think it perfectly sets us up for Sunday. And yeah, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, you must be, but we talked earlier the week about your nerves and your mental game, and you managed to get that in check now. And what was it like going into these 2 rounds, especially the jump-off, with so much pressure on you?
In the first round, today was the first day that I was excited to jump. I said this before, but I think the first day here I was trying to ride the championship, if that makes sense. I was trying to ride the prestige and sort of the caliber of the competition, not really, and almost I think I forgot that I was just doing the same thing that we do, and that is what got us here. So today I was excited. I thought it was a good course, and the jump off, I almost didn't have time to, I really didn't process the jump off. So I think that probably worked in my favor.
Well, it certainly did. Well, congratulations again, your first team gold medal at a championship debut, and then now we're going through to the individual competitions. So good night's sleep, I hope, or 2 now before you go to that. So the very best of luck, Adrienne.
So, thank you so much.
Well, I also spoke to Malin Baryard. Malin Baryard is on the Swedish team. I followed Malin many years ago as a teenager. She was making her way in the sport and a very notable talent. Well, here she is on the Swedish team, winning a silver medal again for the first time in several years, as we'll hear. And I asked her what this meant to her, really being on the team here and winning that silver medal. A career highlight for you, Malin. I know you've done a lot already.
Yeah, but it has been 16 years since we last won a WEG medal, and I was on that team in Jerez. So 16 years ago, it feels actually very good that we finally got a new WEG medal. No, it's great.
Absolutely. Very, very exciting. Were you nervous?
No, I must say that it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to do a team thing and at these big shows. but I must say my horse is so good, and I have such a good feeling with her. So when I go in the ring and when I jump the first jump, I just know we're going to be good. She gives you such a good feeling, and I just have to focus on going with her because she's a little bit different. So, but of course, it's a little bit nervous. But no, it was a great feeling today.
Well, I've watched your career since you were a teenager. I've watched you coming up and just getting better and better, and it's just a matter of finding the horses. But you've always had a good team, and you've always been able to bring on the young horses. Where does this mare fit in the whole scheme of things?
Well, she's a very, very special mare. I've had her now for 2.5 years. She actually had a fracture in a fetlock a year ago. So 1 year ago she started jumping again from that. She was off for nearly 9 months. This is the first season she does with big jumps, and I think she's going to turn out maybe to be one of the best ones I've ever had.
Really? That's fantastic, right? And so what do you think this means for Sweden to win this now? As you said, it's a while since you won one.
Yeah, it's a while since we won one. Then again, we won the silver medal last year at the Europeans. So we are a good team. We're heading towards the Olympics. It's 2 more years to go, and we have a fantastic string of horses. All our horses are in the age to do it in 2 years and probably do it even better. So it's the future's looking really bright.
It certainly is. So give us some thoughts on the track. It would be the first time you've ridden in Tryon, and this arena's ridden very well, and it's held up after all that rain too. So give us your thoughts on the facility and the competition and how it's been for you as an athlete.
I think it's been really, really good. I don't know, maybe we were lucky to be the last to come here, but we've enjoyed the whole week. The horses have great facilities, the stables are great, the warm-up arenas, the ring is beautiful. I think it's been really good. We've had really warm weather, but still we just have to ride one horse a day, and they've kept well. So no, I think it's been great, and today was fantastic sport.
Very, very hot out there, though. Do you think the horses were feeling it? Your horses in Europe wouldn't be as used to the humidity.
No, for sure. But then again, we had a really warm summer, and they do actually. We keep an eye on them the whole time to make sure they get enough fluid. So, I mean, it's a matter of looking after them a little bit more than usually to make sure they cool down quickly and that they drink enough. So they look perfect. All our horses, they jumped great, all of them today. So I don't think they're suffering too much.
No, I don't think they are. I think the people are suffering more than the horses, aren't they?
Yeah, that's maybe the only thing, that they've no roofs on the stands for the people, because I think it's been really hot for them to sit in the sun.
Was there much of an atmosphere, because it wasn't packed all the way around the arena? Was there still a bit of an atmosphere in there?
Well, I think for sure it was, especially since the USA won it, and mainly Americans understand. But we had a few Swedes as well. I thought that in the end you don't really hear it or feel it, but you have it anyway within the team. So, and when you're a medalist, you always think it's a great spirit and great atmosphere.
So what next for Malin Baryard then?
Well, now I'm going to go and celebrate this medal. Then we'll see. I'm a little bit empty up in my head at the moment. I'm a bit tired, but I'm very, very happy.
Well, congratulations again. Super to see you.
Thank you.
Well, finally, I also heard from another rider here two other riders here actually who are observing this weekend. Karen O'Connor, the event rider, has been on Team USA now for a number of years. She stayed on after watching the eventing to join in and support Team USA in the show jumping competition here this week. And she was as patriotic and as thrilled as ever for Team USA to win a medal, much less a gold medal. That was really thrilling for her. And she shares her thoughts on the competition and how emotional that was, being an American and watching your team on top of the medal podium. Karen, that was one of the most exciting days. Nations Cups, team competition, World Equestrian Games. I don't think we've ever had another jump off at the World Equestrian Games.
Well, thanks, Chris. I'm not a show jump person, but I'm an event person, but I decided I wanted to stay. I do have a show jumper that Marilyn Little rides for me, but it was the most exciting final I have ever seen in any sport, for that matter. When it comes down to a nail-biting half of a second for a continued team score that happened over 4 days, there wasn't a person in the stands that wasn't just riveted watching to see what McLean was going to do in his last round.
Yeah, and of course he could have done it in that last round. It came down to a jump off, and we had 3 clears, and of course young Adrienne Sternlicht making her championship debut. How exciting for her.
Well, it's a fabulous horse, and she has the rest of her career ahead of her, but how fantastic for her to be able to have a gold medal around her neck at the beginning of what will probably be many, many decades of an amazing international career. And the horse is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it certainly bodes well for the future for Adrienne, and I think she got overcome her nerves at the beginning of the competition, and then with the speed class, and then coming into the Nations Cup, it got better for her yesterday, and then today she really held on to her nerve. Just one rail down there, but otherwise a brilliant performance for her. But what it really meant was for Laura Kraut. I mean, that meant the world to her, the veteran that she is on the team, but you could see how much that gold medal won here, on home soil, of course.
Well, I think she's such a role model for her entire team. She's incredibly competitive, but she has, just steel nerves, and she knew. I saw her when we walked the course this morning, and she said today is going to be one on clear rounds, and my job is to jump clear rounds. My job is to inspire the rest of the team to jump clear rounds. And she couldn't have been more correct. She jumped 2 beautiful clear rounds today, and in in an environment where you can't believe that your horse actually has to jump a second round today when you thought you gave it all, and now whoops, the scores are absolutely tied between 2 teams, and you got to go and jump 8 more jumps. It's crazy. It was crazy. It was very exciting to watch.
Thrilling to watch, and the crowd really got behind the home team, of course, but the heat and humidity, you'd think that would take it out of the horses, but they've been very well looked after going into the shade with fans. But having to do, all those rounds, it's pretty hard on them over the week, isn't it, Karen, building up?
I don't know, Chris. I mean, behind the scenes, these stables are immaculate. The stables are so perfect. They have insulated ceilings in the stables. Each stall has its own fan. There are fans everywhere. There's climate control in the stables. The arenas are in impeccable condition. And then outside of all of the competition arenas are the misting fans, where your horse can stand in the misting fans before it does its job. Once it comes out, I think that the organizing committee, the OC, has done a miraculous job, given that there was a hurricane and that they only had 18 months to get ready for the games. It's incredible what they've been able to do. Imagine what it would be like in 4 years' time.
Well, absolutely, but just, they did have every facility, as you say, to look after the horses, but you just felt for them going out in that heat, not least of all because you're watching the people and the heat. It's so searing hot out there, but actually you felt as much for the riders having to put their jacket on again.
Well, I think the horses have it, of all the groups, the horses have it the easiest. The ones that have it the toughest are the spectators that stood by this competition, and they were in the stands, and there's no shade in the stands, and I promise you it's 120 degrees in those seats, because the heat's coming off of the footing, and it's a lot of aluminum, and the spectators are the ones that suffered the most. But having said that, nobody left. They couldn't wait to see how it was going to finish.
Yeah, no, it really was a thrilling competition all round here. So, team gold medal to the USA, followed by Sweden very closely behind them. They ended up with the silver, and then in bronze medal position, the Germans. And, of course, that qualifies us for Tokyo 2020.
It qualifies us for the Olympic Games, but also we have 3 riders who are going forward on to Sunday's individual competition, which is going to be also a nail-biter. I mean, at the top, it is measured by a sliver, like by a layer of paint, and these guys are so good, and they're so superb, and all the other sports have such a there's symbiotic relationship between all the sports of what is greatness. Well, we saw greatness today. It was really remarkable. I'm so happy I decided to stay and watch it firsthand.
Well, I was just talking to Katie Prudent, and she, like all of us that have been here all week, watching these horses, there has been so many horses of such high caliber jumping.
This is 30, 40 years in the making. These horses were bred to do this job. Everyone, all the breeders knew that the sport was going to go to this level of expertise and scope and power and just everything that it was going to take to have these horses do what they did today. And it's the breeders, honestly, it's the breeders that I want to take my hats off to, because they really do understand where the sport's going, and I think that's hugely important.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, it bodes well for the USA, of course, as they prepare for the Olympic Games. But for now, Karen, we've got the press conference coming up. Some excited Americans. Let's go and watch.
Okay, thank you, Chris, for having me.
Well, finally, I did manage to catch up with Katie Prudent, who's been on the team many years ago and many teams for Team USA. She's been a very successful coach for a number of years. She is here to support Team USA, of course, and just enjoy the sport generally. And, of course, we've had her on the show in the past, and the one thing's for sure, that Katie will always have an opinion, and she shared her thoughts with me on what this meant and how much she's enjoyed the sport here today, winning for Team USA to win that gold medal. So let's hear from Katie. Very, very exciting jump off there for the gold medal. Team USA did it amazing.
Well, it was spectacular. In the beginning of the competition, the speed class is converted into points. And with fractions, 1.97, 2.08. So you think there's no way there could be an exact tie. Yet when we walked the course this morning, there were 2 extra jumps that were marked off, and we asked the course designer, and he said there's a slight possibility that the Swedish and the Americans could have a tie. The Swedish were, I think, 12 to 16 points behind us, but each of the numbers were 0.59 at the end. So don't you know the Swedes jumped everyone clear, and we had a few 4s here and there, and at the end we were tied exactly. It was unbelievable.
It was very, very exciting. Of course, McLean Ward going as the anchor for the team, Katie. It was all the pressure was on him. He had to go clear to avoid that jump off. He had the one rail down. It was coming out of the double, I believe.
No, he had the in of the 2 oxer line going up into the corner. It was a Liverpool, and his horse just looked like it stalled a little bit at the takeoff and clipped the back rail. So I know McLean was very disappointed, which then instead of winning we tied. But again, in the jump off, he pulled the final beautiful clear round with the fastest time. So in the end, he won it for us. So that was great.
He totally did, but he's very calm and very even-headed, McLean. But for Laura Kraut with that mare ceremony, that meant an awful lot to her to win that medal.
It did, because yesterday, Ceremony's been jumping very well, but she had 2 down, which was sort of uncharacteristic. And I spoke with Laura this morning, and she said, with the heat, I was trying not to give her too much work, and I have to say, Laura said, she was just too fresh. She was pulling me around, and she said this morning she gave her a good workout, and the horse was perfect today.
And how about young Adrienne Sternlicht, a championship debut, has had tremendous form all year being on the Nations Cup team. She pulled it off, felt the nerves in the speed class day 1, but came back, got the butterflies flying in formation. And what about those 2 rounds?
I thought that the first round of the Nations Cup, she had, I think, just a time fall. It was the most beautiful round. She pulled herself together after the first day jitters, and I thought she did a great job.
She really did. And then, of course, young Devin Ryan, he seems very calm.
Well, he's been earning his way onto this team, I would say, since the Gold Cup last year when he won it, and then the World Cup finals, and then double clear, I believe it, I want to say Aachen. He's just really earned his way into a top slot. He's very consistent and super horse, super rider.
Altogether, a terrific team. Paid off for Robert Ridland, of course. Great achievement for him to win on home soil, qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Very important. I know that was their priority. Check that box. Job done.
He did a great job. Yeah, and he was on the hot seat for putting a young, unproven rider instead of Beasy, right? So, and it proved out to be he was right. And I'm proud of him and proud of our country.
Yeah, thrilling day sport here at the World Equestrian Games. But Katie, when you look at the rising talent now, it looks like, US show jumping is turning around now.
I think the quality of horses in the worldwide, is so unbelievable. A friend of mine who lives in California, the famous rider Eric Navet, came to watch. And one of the German horses, the one called Alice, he looked at me and said, "This horse is from another planet." And I think it hasn't touched a fence since it's been here. It's just, and it, among many others, are just such high-quality horses now. Many. The sport is really changing.
Yeah, and then we heard that from others. You know, the first day of competition, we were all going, wow, look at the quality of horses there now. So lots more to look forward to. We've got the individual competition coming up at the weekend. So thanks.
The Germans are ahead in that, right? That 2 Germans are leading.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know it's been a very exciting day for you.
Very exciting, and I'm so happy for the Americans.
Well, thanks again to all my guests, Katie Prudent, Karen O'Connor, Adrienne Sternlicht and Malin Baryard. Tremendous day sport here in Tryon for the FEI World Equestrian Games. The team competition, those team medals again in a jump-off between Sweden and USA. USA just pipped Sweden to the gold medal, and in the bronze medal position was Germany. Thrilling day sport here, as I said, very, very hot. Fitting climax to the team competition as we round up the sport for today at least, and we also had the driving taking place as well. They started their dressage competition today. They did the dressage, and the marathon will be tomorrow. And Misty Wrigley-Miller, who was on the show yesterday, she's the only woman to be driving on any team here at WEG. She finished the second best of the 3 teams of drivers within Team USA. So a great start for her. And as I said, they do their marathon tomorrow. Very exciting competition that is. It was always exciting to watch the marathon. So that happens tomorrow. The para-dressage wrapped up today as well. So all the medals were awarded in grades 1 and 3 of the para-dressage. So lots has been happening here today. I'll be bringing you a Facebook Live review tomorrow morning, as I have been doing every day since I've been here, to tell you what's going to be happening that day, a little review of the day and of the day before, and a preview of the day ahead. So that's tomorrow on Facebook Live. Do join me then. And don't forget to support our official charity here at Wisp Sports for the World Equestrian Games. That is Believe Ranch and Rescue. That it's an organization that saves horses from slaughter, and you can find out more about them and support them at believeranch-and-rescue.org. You can follow us on social media, as always, at Wisp Sports. And, of course, if you want to drop us a line, we love to hear from you anytime. If you have any comments about the program here and the coverage that we've been bringing from the World Equestrian Games. And that email address is info@wispsports.com. But for now, that's it from Tryon, North Carolina for day 10 of competition. I'll be back tomorrow with a lot more. I'm Chris Stafford. Thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.